Based on this picture alone, I'm going to assume that Erik ten Hag isn't the happiest manager in the world right now, and truthfully, I'm not really surprised. United have played 10 games in all competitions so far this season and conceded a whopping 18 goals. 18 goals conceded in just 10 games is awful. It's relegation form, realistically. It really isn't very good, but rather than just pointing out that it's not very good, we need to figure out why United are conceding these goals. Is there a pattern? Is there a certain type of goal they're conceding? And if so, why are they conceding that goal, and how can you potentially solve it? So let's get into it.
So before we continue into the video, a quick shout out to today's video sponsor, JerseyFIFA.com, the home of all of the greatest football kits. Whether that be the new latest releases or the old classic ones like this, Jersey FIFA has something for everyone, and now you can check it out yourself using the link in the description down below. And also make sure to use code JerseyFIFA for 10% off when you order.
So to cut to the chase, I've watched through all of United's games so far this season, and I've watched all of the goals that they have conceded, and there is quite an alarming theme which I think people have started to pick up on in general, and that is the concession of cutback chances which Manchester United are conceding. Because of the 18 goals conceded so far this season in just 10 games, 7 of them have been goals which are very similar to being cutback chances. So that's what we're going to take a look at today. If we go over to the tactical board, what we're going to class as a cutback is realistically any sort of ball which is coming from this sort of wide channel here, roughly, and it's going to be cut backwards anywhere in this sort of region here. Sometimes it'll be behind the United midfield, sometimes it'll be this side of it, but that's the sort of chance we're looking for. Because, as I said there, United have conceded 7 of these in just 10 games, which is nearly one cutback a game they're conceding. And that's a real concern because it goes further than just the goals conceded as well. If you look at some of the chances United conceded and actually got away with, there's a lot of cutbacks. So, why is it happening? How is it happening? First of all, let's look at the proof of it happening. We're going to head over to Once Video Analyzer Pro, a top video analysis software which you guys can check out using the link in the description down below. You'd be daft not to, realistically, if you want to get into analysis. It's a great software. It allows us here to see Kulusevski carrying the ball towards the byline. Now, to be fair, Kulusevski's a good player. He does well. He carries the ball towards the byline. He cuts the ball back across the Manchester United box. So we can see here, this ball is moving backwards. Kulusevski has got into this wide channel. The ball has come backwards. Now, this one is a little bit fortunate, to be fair to Spurs. There's a deflection in the middle. It eventually falls for the player and goes in the back of the net. Regardless, though, it was a cutback. We can also go over to the other side in London, in North London, and Arsenal. Manchester United away from home. They've just scored against Arsenal and put themselves in a really good position, 1-0 up. But straight away, Arsenal come up the other end and score a cutback. Martinelli gets down the left-hand side into this channel of space here, and if you just look at Odegaard on the edge of the box, the ball is going to get cut back towards him. And what is Odegaard going to do? He's going to receive the cutback in space, put the ball into the back of the net. This is more of a clear-cut, true cutback. This is concerning for United because it's happened twice now. That's a problem. We can now go to the Brighton game, where we see more of the same. So this time it's down the right-hand side. Brighton get in behind the Manchester United defence. They're going to carry the ball forward, down this wide channel towards the byline, although not quite all the way. The ball is then going to get cut backwards across the box between the defence and the midfield. And after a nice little dummy in the middle of the box, Danny Welbeck's going to put the ball into the back of the net. That's a problem. That's now 3 of them we've conceded already. We can actually stay in the Brighton game for another one, though. Now, that's a real concern. This time they're coming down the left-hand side, so it's not even a one-sided problem. It happens down both sides of the pitch. Again, that's really concerning. Brighton are going to carry the ball forward down the left-hand side. They're going to carry the ball forward into this wide position, keep carrying the ball forward towards the penalty area, and then eventually this ball is going to come backwards. Excuse the slight glitch here, 1 second. The ball is going to come backwards to the edge of the Manchester United penalty area, and then this one's a bit more kind of an anomaly because it's a really good finish, but this is now the 4th one we've seen, and there's 3 others still. That's a problem. So that is really just the first part of the job done, basically, because what we've done is identified what is happening. In 10 games, 18 goals conceded, United have conceded 7 cutbacks. So 7 times the ball has come in this sort of position from a wide area backwards when Manchester United have then conceded the goal. So that is the what. The next question is the how, and then we're going to talk about maybe how United can combat it moving forward. So, United are conceding cutbacks. We've established that. How are they conceding them? Is this a problem with the back 4? Is it a problem with the goalkeeper? Is it a problem with the midfield? Or is it a problem with the forward line? You guessed it, it's all of them, because it's a team game and that's how football works. This is a team problem which United currently have. It stems from a high press not being great. It comes from the midfield not covering ground in the right way, particularly negatively. and also the defensive structure not being quite right. This is a tactical problem. Some of it comes down to personnel, and we'll see that, but this is also a tactical problem. So let's go through it. It starts, like I said, with United's high pressing structure, where United often press with 5 players nice and high. However, what this means is that most opposition teams build with a 6 plus their goalkeeper, so United are outnumbered. We talk about this problem quite a lot. Because it means that the wingers kind of have this hybrid role of once Rasmus Højlund starts pressing, one of the wingers has to play between a fullback and a centre-back. And United don't have the most defensively intense wingers, particularly on the left-hand side. Rashford doesn't really put a proper shift in, which means the opposition are often able to draw United onto one side of the pitch like this, and then either with a backwards pass first, or just a straight switch, or a few passes to work the ball around the back, they're able to work the ball over to the other side. What do we see from here? The fullback will then 9 times out of 10 look to carry the ball forward, because obviously they've got a lot of green grass in front of them. Why not step into it? So this is the first problem. United's press isn't good enough, they're getting exposed, the opposition fullbacks are able to carry the ball forward. Now, this next part is important, and this next part is something which is actually going under the radar a little bit. It's the way in which the opposition are now manipulating the Manchester United centre-backs. So a lot of the focus for a lot of people is now on the midfield. We're going to kind of skip a step and then come back to that, because now we're going to look at the back 4, where we have another problem. The problem is teams have realised that if they drop their striker a little bit deeper, because you know the United midfield is a man-to-man in the middle here, if they drop their striker deeper into this area, one of the centre-backs has to follow. And you'll notice this player, the striker for the opposition, 9 times out of 10 is dropping deep towards the ball. So if it's on this side, it will be someone like Lindelof or Lisandro Martinez. If it's down this side, it will be Rafael Varane or Harry Maguire, stepping forward into that position to try and engage the striker. Now, the problem this causes is not great, basically. So Lindelof's going to step out towards this striker, and he's going to drag Lindelof as far as he physically can. Again, it could be Lisandro Martinez. There's several different players it could be. What this now does is it leaves United with a back 3. Now, of course, the gap here is far too big. It's a massive gap, which means the fullbacks have to narrow off a little bit, like so, to form a back 3 and protect their centre-back. This now causes another problem, because typically we would want our fullback to now go engage the ball, but they can't, because they're now being pinned back by the fact that they have to support their centre-back because the other centre-back has gone wandering into midfield. This now means that as this player carries the ball forward, someone like Amrabat is going to get caught in 2 minds. Should I go press the ball or should I sit off? It leaves room for someone like this to get in behind. We're going to see this player always move into this position. Someone like Rafael Varane, being a centre-back, naturally has to transition into this position here. And United now leave a big gap on the edge of the box, because the opposition have played through the team far too easily, and someone like Casemiro is struggling with 2 things, one being the fitness levels to actually get back and cover the ground, but also the awareness and the tracking of players quite simply hasn't been good enough. The problem stems, if we now go back to the midfield though, in that because the centre-back is always stepping near the ball. So again, let's say the right-back's got the ball, the striker for the opposition, this player here, is going to step towards the ball. This is going to drag the near side centre-back over. Casemiro therefore feels that his defensive role is now on the far side. Not the near side near the ball, on the far side. So the opposition carry the ball forward, the fullback gets pinned back like this, the ball's going to come down the line out wide, and now when this cutback comes, because Casemiro is defending the far side, it's much easier to get ahead in front of him, the cutback comes across, the ball goes into the back of the net. This is the problem. This is how it's happening. Now, to prove I'm not just making this up out of nowhere, we've got a few examples to go through. Now, of course, we've already looked at 4 of the goals which United conceded. All of them are cutbacks, and that Brighton game in particular really highlighted this tactical problem. If you want more on that, go watch my video purely on the Brighton game. You'll see me covering this very problem. However, it wasn't just a one-off in that game against Brighton, because, for example, we can go to the Champions League game against Bayern. Now, in this game, United didn't really concede pure cutbacks, but they still conceded chances. This is 1 minute, 25 seconds into the game. Bayern have tried to play the ball down the left-hand side over here, so United have been drawn over with these 4 pressing players. Bayern are going to move the ball backwards, and they're going to come to Upamecano. Now, because the United press has been sucked over to one side, someone like Rashford is now kind of in charge of covering the centre-back, but also the full-back. He doesn't have the intensity to do that, so Upamecano can play quite a simple ball down the line to Lima. Reminder, this is now 1 minute 30 into the game. So Lima's got the ball at right back, and we can see, as we were talking about, he has that green grass in front of him, which he is able to run into. But we also have 2 other very, very important pointers which we've spoken about. Can you pick it out here? Look at this fella here. Guess who this is? This is Lisandro Martinez following Harry Kane towards the ball into this position. He's been dragged near side. But also, if we just quickly highlight him, let me grab the highlight tool real quick. Casemiro is on the far side because he thinks Lisandro Martinez has this space covered. As it plays on, we'll see that it very much doesn't. The ball gets played in behind the United defence. Reguilón can't engage the ball because he is now forming. Again, 1 second, let me get my line tool up. He's forming this back three with the centre-back and the full-back. We've got Lisandro Martinez, who's been drawn out of position by Harry Kane, one of the best in the business at doing it. Casemiro's defending the far side. Bayern carry the ball forward, and they actually mess up this attack. But this is 1 minute 30 seconds into the game. We can see the clear tactical problem. If we fast forward in this match, about 5 minutes, we're now on 6 minutes 38 seconds. We've got a similar problem. United have pressed over down the left-hand side. United's right-hand side, Bayern's left-hand side. Bayern have decided we've drawn them over. Now let's come out this way. Now again, we'll see that Rashford doesn't have the intensity to go with Lima. We can see that this ball is very, very easy to play. The ball comes down the line. Now as we go onto this next freeze frame, you will see once again Lisandro Martinez has been dragged out by Harry Kane. He's in this position near the ball side. He's trying to deal with Harry Kane. We can see Casemiro is far side, not near the ball. He's covering far side because Lisandro Martinez is near side. Lima, once again, has all this green grass in front of him, which he can run into. He does exactly that. He carries the ball forward. He feeds the ball down the line. You can see Reguilón is in a back three with the defender here and also the defender on the far side. United are now in their back three. The winger gets in behind Reguilón because he's been caught out because of the system. Sana gets himself into a promising position. We've seen United concede this goal many times this season. On this occasion, it doesn't quite happen. But again, you can now see the room in this area. There is no Casemiro in this area. Your spare centre-back has been pulled out of position. This is why United are conceding cutbacks. So, that's 2 jobs done. We've spoken about what is happening. United are conceding way too many cutbacks. We've now looked at how. Let's just quickly cover that one more time though. So, bear with me a second. I'm ill. I'm very out of breath doing this video. So let's get United back in their structure. Let's say the opposition are in a 4-2-3-1. United are in a 4-3-3. So the opposition build the ball. Oh, that's a player. Build the ball down the left-hand side with the left back. United come over and try and apply pressure to the ball, like so. What happens is the ball goes backwards and gets cycled out the other side because United don't press with great intensity but also not enough players, which means the opposition can find a spare man, which is often the fullback. The fullback will then carry the ball forward. As Rashford makes this kind of half-assed effort to get back, the fullback will carry the ball forward. Next step, Casemiro tied up by a midfielder who's going to move into this position here. Next step, striker is going to step forward towards the ball, or come deeper towards the ball I should say, drawing the near side centre-back. Out like this. As a result, the 2 fullbacks realise I need to save my centre-back and tuck in here. This gives the fullback for the opposition even more ground to carry the ball into. Eventually, the United fullback will get dragged out because you have to engage eventually, but this leaves space in behind for this ball to be played. As this ball is played, the centre-backs drop off. Because Casemiro is on the far side, it's too easy to run in front of him, get on the cutback, and score the goal. How do you fix it? Now, in all honesty, I don't have the perfect solution to this problem. It's one thing pointing it out and then addressing what it is. Solving it is a different problem entirely, and it's another level of analysis. And it's something for Ten Hag to figure out. In terms of the way that I view it on quite a basic level in this instance, is Ten Hag probably has 2 options, because it stems from the press not quite working. So he's got 2 options. Now, one thing he probably needs to do initially is get better duel winners in the side in general. So someone like Casemiro, who's not winning his battles, probably needs to come out of the team because he doesn't win his duel, but he also doesn't cover the ground. So that is one way of addressing the problem. The other is a change of structure. And Ten Hag either needs to go super aggressive in his press so that United don't get outnumbered in this first phase. For example, you could move a midfielder forward like this. United could go like this in their press, for example. Super aggressive in the press, it means the opposition don't have a free man, so you're not dragged about in the first place initially. That is one way you address the problem, because the fullback for the opposition now doesn't have all this space to step into. So that's one way Ten Hag could do it. The other option, again this is quite a basic level of just how I see things, is to stop doing this kind of half press thing and drop a little bit deeper. And maybe play in more of a 4-1-4-1 at times, or even a 4-4-2, the structure isn't too important. But stop trying to press, kind of half press high. Either commit to pressing all the way up the pitch, or commit to dropping off into a mid-block. For me, that's probably the best solution for Ten Hag moving forward. But this is where I want your help in the comments down below. What do you think is the best solution? Is it a case of just connecting an extra man to the press? Is it dropping off completely? Do we need to see drastic changes in the starting 11? For example, Casemiro, Marcus Rashford? Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Hopefully today, I've cleared up for you some of the problems which United are facing, really. And one of the big problems is, of course, that they're conceding so many goals. We've now spoken about what type of goal they're conceding. It is the cutback. We've spoken about how that is happening, and we've kind of briefly covered how Ten Hag could address it. But let me know what you think in the comments down below. But apart from that, thank you guys for watching. I hope you have enjoyed it. And as always, I'll see you in the next one.